is going to be presented today. This webinar is being recorded. So I'll be giving you an overview of some of the goals and achievements of the OLLI board in the past year, and be followed by Ann Sparks, our treasurer, who will update you on the report of our finances. And we'll then get several updates of our return to campus and the parking settlement that Mike Stover, our VP of Administration, will provide. He'll be followed by Chris Shaw, our current secretary and chair of the Policies and Procedures Committee, who will talk about the revisions of OLLI policies that were passed this past year. And Ellie Monroe, our VP of Programs, will bring us up to date of what is in store for us for the intersession and the summer programs. The second half of the program will be devoted to our election of new board members and trustees. And introducing the candidates, the slate of candidates, is our chair of the Nominations and Elections Committee, Janice Jang. She'll be followed by Phil Barnard, our parliamentarian, who will make the motion for the acclamation vote, and then we'll vote. We'll have a question and answer session after these presentations, and I'll have a slide in a moment explaining how we'll do that. We'll be followed by a fun part of the program. The Hospitality Committee is going to substitute for our ice cream social, and they'll be doing an announcement of a drawing that those of you who registered before the 13th of April have been eligible for some treats. And then we'll end with some closing remarks by myself and Ellie. So with that, let me begin. Okay, so let me now go through some of the things that we have done over the course of the year through the board. As you'll see here, these are some of the goals that were set back in May for the OLLI board. Our primary goal this year, and it's still continuing, is keeping OLLI members safe. And you'll see that this is one of the goals that we are using as we transition in the coming months to restoring OLLI's programs face-to-face. The second major goal that we had was continuing OLLI's programs as much as we could. And thanks to the effort of Ellie as VP of Programs and an army of helpers and willing instructors and coordinators, we were able to maintain about 80% of our regular programs through Zoom. Another goal was optimizing OLLI membership. And of course, the pandemic sort of put a mixer into that. We did do some marketing to try to restore our membership loss. We currently have 907 members. 879 of these are what we call full-time equivalents, and this is created by dividing our total revenue from membership by the membership fee of $260. The thing that concerns me a bit is that we only had 77 new OLLI members instead of our usual 200. So that's something that we're going to have to be looking into. The current long-range plan that we have in place that we use to create these goals would have ended in 2021. However, we decided to postpone updating the plan that was created in 2016 because we had so little information about how things were going to go for the short term, and most of the board was really concerned with trying to get back into the saddle here again for OLLI membership. Our finances we remain to be self-supporting even with our current budget deficit because of our decreased membership, and Ann Sparks will provide some of the details of this. To continue on with our goals, another goal that we have was a diversity of our membership, and we've accomplished this in a way by continuing to educate our members of diversity issues. And as you know, there's a new eclectics class that was offered this semester and will continue hopefully in the fall. And we've also tried to do our job here by featuring more diverse ethnicities in OLLI's communications. In terms of facilities, because of the current condition of OLLI's finances and the fact that the plans for renovating the patio when the final dollars came in were way higher than we had expected, we decided to table these plans. In terms of technology, As you know, we have really zoomed up our distance learning videos. But in the coming months, that what VP of Technology Bob Newcomb is trying to do is planning to present what's called high flex courses. This is not hybrid, virtual and face-to-face. These are classes that are going to be presented simultaneously, virtually and face-to-face. Let's hope that this comes to fruition here. OLLI's collaboration programs have, again, involved 8 colleges at Cal State Fullerton and in different kinds of projects. And these projects are to help students meet their educational goals. And these collaboration projects have really been bolstered this year by many of you new members to OLLI. So thank you for joining and volunteering for this particular program. And this has been quite a year, if you think about it. I just want to pull out a few things from this list of, laundry list of accomplishments, etc. This has been an unprecedented year, as many of you know, historically as well. We have successfully transitioned to virtual classes, and I'm confident that we can go back again if we ever have to. Knock on wood that this won't ever happen. We also lost 43% of our membership. This is actually an improvement. At the beginning in the fall when we had our town hall meeting, we had lost 48% of our membership. And even today, the number of members is half our usual. And of course, this has led to a budget deficit since it's the membership income or revenue is one of our main sources of income. On the other hand, the OLLI office was short a staff for the whole year. That meant we didn't get up-to-date, detailed financial records given to the board. But this was also kind of a blessing in that one of our major expenses is administrative costs. And so we didn't have that adding to our deficit. This year is also the year that the 5-year parking agreement at Cal State Fullerton was up for renewal. And fortunately, due to the good graces of Mike Stover, our VP of Programs, and Patsy, they were able to negotiate an extension to our current parking memorandum of understanding. They still have not, the parking and transportation services have not, and they're not going to return any of the fees that we paid for the last year when we were not using any of the parking lots. Okay. And the good thing about what's happened is we've stepped up our activity of the Distance Learning Committee by a huge amount. And just to show you what's here, this rapid increase in the number of videos occurred between 2019 and 2020, you can see here. And at one point, Bob Newcomb, our VP of Technology and our distance learning guru, so to speak, he and his team cranked out 95 classes and videos during the fall semester.
Time for this.
And so kudos to our behind-the-scenes distance learning video editors. Bob Newcomb is our VP of Technology. He's both a technical guru and the workhorse. And he's trained all these student helpers and OLLI volunteers. So this is Julia Delarba and Trisha Abu, and who've been working really hard getting all these videos completed and edited for putting onto our OLLI website. Thank you, Bob. And all of you have persevered. All of you have learned, if you're here today, you've learned to use Zoom technology. And this has really been our means of continuing OLLI's support of the 3 pillars for successful aging: learning, socialization, and even exercise. And all of you instructors and coordinators have learned to use Zoom successfully. And so again, we thank you very much for all of this effort. And it turns out many members, including myself sometimes, prefer meeting in Zoom and are willing to continue virtually for the fall if we need to. I have never, I don't know about the rest of you, I have never taken so many courses in my life as I have this past semester, because it's so easy to just click on something and you're there. Okay. The other thing that's been a real boon, we've learned each other's names. I'm just worried that when we get back to face-to-face, with our faces covered with a mask, whether we'll be able to recognize each other. So this has been quite a year. With that, I know OLLI will bounce back. This is a picture of our 2020-2021 OLLI board that have been meeting monthly, actually twice a month, in order to kind of keep up with all the things that need to be done. I also wanted to welcome Fran Caldwell, who replaced Janice Jang, who resigned from the board this past year. These are all the OLLI board members this past year. Those in orange and in italics are going to be replaced by the nominees at today's elections. So again, I want to thank Mike Stover, VP of Administration, Ellie Monroe, VP of Programs, Ginger Barnhart, VP of Membership, Sue Mullally, VP of External Outreach, Pete Saputo, VP of Facilities, Elaine Mitchell, VP of Hospitality, Bob Newcomb, VP of Technology, Ann Sparks, our Treasurer, Chris Shaw, our Secretary, and also you'll see Chair of the Policies and Procedures Committee. And we have a number of trustees at large, Renee Cabrera, Rosalind Charles, Fran Colwell, Catherine Koza, Cindy Owens, Vicki Height, Tony Package, Ari Pashir, and Bill Sampson. And finally, almost finally, Jim Monroe, our immediate past president, who for the first time will be off the board, he told me, after 8 years of serving on the board. And finally, I want to thank Phil Barnhart, our parliamentarian, for keeping the meetings going at a regular clip compared to what would happen if I was doing this all by myself. So thank you. Thank you, all of you. It's been a real honor serving with you, and I wish the new board a lot of luck here. Okay, so next after me is the update on OLLI's finances and budget by Ann Sparks. So Ann, take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. The board adopted the 21-22 budget at their meeting in March. So I just wanted to give a couple of highlights from the budget. The budget was based on a membership of 1,100, which is, significantly less than what has been, but it's also an increase from where we are now. So we are hopeful that as things come together, more people will come back to OLLI. So the income for next year is $436,000 roughly, and that includes both the membership revenue and then any donations that we get, and also the distribution that we get from the Osher endowment. The expenses are a little over $501,000. So from a budget perspective, we're looking at being at a net loss position of $65,000. And that may or may not come to pass, just depending on how all of the different categories in actuality come together. So if we could go to the next slide. Part of the budget includes a 3-year forecast for facilities and technology needs. So we are looking at around $130,000 for next year, then about $170,000, and then around $62,000 for the third year out. Now for next year, 2 of the proposed expenditures there that are probably most significant to us in one way or another. There's $35,000 at this point set aside in technology to help Bob implement and keep going the Zoom classes and the HighFlex and some of those activities they've been doing. And then also we are still looking, depending on circumstances, to replace one of the OLLI trolleys, and that would come out of the facilities plan. So if we could go to the next slide. Our member dues cover 57% of our operating expenses. So based on membership of 1,100 for next year, we'd be looking at about $456 per member. We are keeping the membership dues static at $260, so there's no change there. So if we could go to the next slide. So as we look at the end of next year, we do some projections, and we're looking at hopefully having funds and reserves of about 509,000 and donations of about 337,000. So we're looking at roughly at about 847,000 between reserve accounts and donation accounts. So those are funds that will help us weather any storms that we still see on the horizon. The Osher Endowment Fund as of February 28th this year was $2,446,540 based on the market value. And from this endowment fund, depending on earnings, we get a distribution every year, and that helps cover some of our expenses. So that's just kind of a quick overview of some elements of the budget for next year. And now I'd like to turn the presentation over to Mike Stover.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon all. Slide. Are you ready for some good news, or what we believe will be good news? Slide. For the first time, we can be optimistic about returning to the campus for some or even most of our classes and activities. Slide. University leaders tell us they are planning to bring back to campus the majority of university classes for the fall semester, and they plan to have the RGC ready for both academic classes and our classes. How many OLLI classes can physically return this fall, and under what restrictions will OLLI members face returning to campus remain to be seen. Here's what we know and what we need to know when it is decided by the university. We need to know what physical distancing requirements will be imposed. Will there be the 6-foot standard, the 3-foot standard that is being used in elementary and grades and parts of America, or no distancing at all based upon a high degree of vaccine effectiveness? We also need to know what type of requirements will be on each of us. Will we need to wear a mask? And what other measures will be imposed to enhance campus safety and the safety of our fellow members? The campus appears to be headed towards requiring individuals to either be vaccinated, strongly urged, or be tested so that to be virus free. We need to know how that will be implemented. All these things are being worked on both at the university system-wide office in Long Beach for the 23 campus CSU system, and here at Cal State Fullerton. We've been advised twice this week that our staff should be able to return to the campus in July. We need to submit a detailed plan. That will be staff only on campus in July, but that will get us back on campus. We do recognize that the university will follow all state and federal guidance to make sure the campus is as safe as it possibly can. And more details will await us in the 152 days before we start classes in the fall semester. Slide. Now, when we come back, the campus close to us will look a little different. The parking structure that was under construction when we left is now fully constructed. Has 1,901 parking spaces. That's in addition to the parking structure right next to it. Offsetting some of those spaces is the loss of 1,037 spaces, because this building, seen in the conceptual drawing in the center and to the right, is being constructed. That is a new residence facility for Cal State students. It will replace an existing facilities for sophomore and upper class students. Next. So there's good news ahead. And we should hear a lot more details in the 152 days until the start of the new semester. And now let me turn you over to our OLLI Secretary, Chris Shaw.
Hi, we have the next slide. We revised a number of new policies this year. 7 newer revised policies, and actually 1 procedure were approved by the board recently. These policy, anytime a policy is revised or a new policy is penned, they must be approved by the board and communicated to OLLI members. We want OLLI members to be well informed, and that's part of our mission as the board. The full new policies document will be available on the OLLI website in a couple of weeks. So you can look at it there under governing documents on the face page of the website. Next slide. First up, this is a new procedure, ethical environment procedure. The new interim ethical environment investigations procedure defines investigations into complaints under civility standards. There's 2 types of those complaints: civility complaints and egregious violations. Egregious violations involve higher levels of due process, and a greater sanctions are consistent with Cal State Fullerton standards. Again, these civility standards, like our policies, are available on the OLLI website for you to view. Next slide. We have a new terminology for some of our policies. One of them is we changed the terminology of University Extended Education, which is UEE. That used to be the title of the organization that oversees OLLI, the Cal State Fullerton organization. It's now Extended and International Programs, or EIP. And to make that easier to change every time we change the policies, we changed the reference to extension. So that term extension is used throughout the policies. It's used more than 20 times. Next slide. The record retention policy was revised just to change the title of OLLI's historian. It is now called the activist/historian. And this is, we changed this title because it more accurately reflects the new emphasis we have on archiving digital copies of important documents and data that we're going to put on in the cloud, a cloud-based digital archive, which is currently being worked on, and that will be announced later in the year, hopefully. Technology Education 3.2 policy. The Computer Education Committee, or CEC, decided to change their title to Technology Education Committee, or TEC. And the reason for that was that the education has evolved from just computers, like how to use Microsoft Word or other kinds of computer issues. It's evolved into other kinds of technology, like smartphones and digital photography, that have kind of evolved from computers. So it's the education of our members has expanded. And so the title Technology Education more accurately reflects what we are doing to educate our members. Next slide. Annual budget. 9.1.3 is the budget, is the budget policy title number. That was revised to conform to recent changes in Cal State Fullerton's policy. OLLI's budget and its accounting is administered by Cal State Fullerton's Auxiliary Services Corporation, or ASC. And so it's important that our policies adhere to Cal State Fullerton's policies so that there's a seamless process. So it's really just a procedural change. There was no substantive changes that would concern members really, but we needed to keep you aware of that. Now the OLLI secretary has a new responsibility. The new responsibility for OLLI secretary is to maintain a list of OLLI's standing and ad hoc committees. That list will also reflect the committee chairs and the responsible OLLI officers. So we've got quite a list of committees, so it's important to keep track of that and maintain its listing. Next slide. Nepotism and conflict of interest. This is a new policy. The purpose is to limit member spouses. We have lots of members who have both spouses that are members of OLLI, and we felt it's important to limit their service as simultaneously as president and treasurer or president and vice president administration. These are important positions on the board, and the idea is that we want to make sure that each decision that an officer makes in those important positions are independent, and that we avoid any kind of appearance of conflict of interest. And this limitation will also apply to two committees that operate independently of the board: the Nomination and Election Committee and the Member Scholarship Committee. Those committees make independent decisions, and they need to be independent. And nepotism and conflict of interest. Okay, what's the next slide? Here we go, fundraising. We have a new policy, commemorative tribute and naming opportunities. This rules rules for donating plaques and things like that to contribute, that give a tribute to individuals or groups who made a significant contribution to OLLI. This arose from the board's recent approval of a new bench that's going to be installed and dedicated to our former OLLI president, Kurt Spradlin. So we thought it would be a good idea to have official procedures and policies in place for these kinds of commemorative tributes. Okay, and now I'll turn it over to Ellie Monroe, our VP of Programs.
I want to thank all of you for being here. I appreciate that you took your time to come and hear us out. So as you know, we will continue our programming into the intersession. So I'd like to discuss a few highlights of that for you. Thank you. Our new offerings that we have that are going on during intersession are the cooking potpourri, the OLLI Happy Hour, the Crafty Social, and then we're also adding an additional presentation done by Dr. Cesario on May 25th. I hope you all attend these. We had our first cooking potpourri, and that was very, very successful. And so we're hoping that these new samplings will bring you in, and hopefully it'll attract some new members. Also, there have been a few class changes during our intersession. Our ukulele group had to divide up because of the different levels of expertise within each one of the classes. So we now have a beginner. The new one is the intermediate, and then the symposium are those members who have been doing this for quite some time. The other thing to consider is German and longevity stick have also asked to go on into the intersession. Keep an eye on your news bites. It will introduce any changes that we make and also let you know which classes are meeting during the summer or during the intersession. Apology. And I know that there are going to be some classes that will continue meeting during the intersession, but they're kind of unofficial classes. They've asked to go ahead, our members are bothering us and they're saying we want to meet more. So that's very encouraging to know that they're enjoying their classes. Next, please. Thank you. Some of the things that we've added on is, of course, our volunteer recognition presentation, which follows this at 3 o'clock. And so I hope you join us. We will go about an hour and a half. That's about what we have planned for right now. In that particular program, we'll have a number of discussions and kind of honor some of the people that have been doing a fantastic job of volunteering during this year. And also we will have a group that Bill Cunliffe will bring in, and that group will entertain you for about a half hour, 45 minutes. So I hope you join us. The other two things that are going on is we have a ukulele and classical guitar concert coming up on April the 17th. This, of course, is not in your blue book. And the same thing with the Band Plus concert, which will be on May 15th. So we hope you enjoy that offering and join us. Thank you. Okay, our summer classes are going to continue. We have approximately 66 classes and events that will be going on during the summer. So that is, usually summer has a reduced amount of different classes that, that decide, well, I'm not going to go into the summer. The other thing I want to make note of is there will be a couple of classes that are summertime classes only, like for instance, my class of brain games is going to be on, and so will the history of music or American music, that we'll be doing country western as a changeover. So please keep advised that, check out your news bites as you receive them, and they'll give you all that information. Okay, I'm now going to pass this on to our nominating committee chair, Janice Jang. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. So I had the privilege of serving as the chair of the nominating committee this last semester, and I had some very distinguished OLLI members helping me with the duty of choosing the next slate of officers and board members. And those members were Ken Luke, Raylene Williams, Debbie Maxwell, Vicki Height, Jim Monroe, and Phil Barnhart. So now I would like to announce the slate of nominees, beginning with Ellie Monroe as president, Renee Cabrera as VP of Programs, Bill Sampson, VP of Membership, Tony Package, VP of Facilities, Lisa Sewell, VP of Hospitality, Ann Sparks as Treasurer, Rosalind Charles as Trustee at Large, and William Clark, Trustee at Large, Michelle Frankel, Trustee at Large, Tom LaCasa, Trustee at Large, and Pete Saputo, also Trustee at Large. So I'd like to now turn this over to Phil Barnhart, our parliamentarian. Hello, Phil.
The following motion, I would like to move to accept the slate of candidates presented by the Nomination Election Committee as listed in the report. And I would like that moved by acclamation. Do I have a first motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Jim, second. I would like to thank the nomination. Thank you, Janice. I would also take a moment to say thank you to Joyce Ono for being our president, and Ellie Monroe to lead us in the future. Would you please vote? And I believe, Joyce, you have told everyone how to vote?
No,
On
I'm
the
about to do
machine?
this right now. I'm going to be putting up a poll. So please select the appropriate response in the poll and submit it. If you're using a phone without a video, press *9 to raise your hand to be counted when asked whether you vote yes, no, or abstain. So let me now launch the poll. Panelists, if you could just raise your hand for yes, and you'll be counted. And those of you who are on a phone that do not have the capability of doing this, you hit your *9 if you vote yes.
Okay. I'm going to assume, despite my personality, that all of you are in the process of voting now. And because I find it difficult to do these things, will give you a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Joyce, do you have any totals in front of you?
95% or 99% of those who are present here have voted yes.
Okay.
Now, this doesn't count the number of participants. So how many participants have?
We should
So-
have
12.
So we have
112.
hands from 12 and
Right.
attendees 2.
And we had 5 people who abstained.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay, as
Now,
parliamentarian,
let's
I
see.
will then determine the election closed, and congratulations to the new board members. With that, Joyce,
Okay.
I give it to you.
Okay, so you should all be able to see the poll results now. Okay, so at this point in time, I see a lot of questions in the chat, and I mean, not in the chat, but in the Q&A and possibly in the chat. Some of them have been answered if they were very specific and not of general interest to everyone. But let me go through them. Let's see. So we got a question about why is there such a drop in expenses to 60+ K for 2024? Let's see, Anne, would you be able to answer that?
Yeah, I'm assuming that question refers to the proposed capital outlay plans.
I believe so.
And the reason it drops significantly in the third year, as you're doing planning, sometimes the third year out is less clear. And also, as there are one-time expenditures like next year and the year after, they would not reoccur. So that's why there's that drop in the third year. As this process continues, like into the next budget year, where the third year out will then instead be the 2-year out, I'm sure that 60,000 will increase as people look at what's going on and determine what their needs would be in that time frame.
Thank you, Anne. So the next question we have is, will Lot J be available and remain an OLLI lot?
This is Mike, and the answer is yes.
And another question, Mike, what is under construction on Lot E?
That's the student residence facilities. That's a very ambitious program that the university approved and had existing money available through a state bond issue to build that. And it's under construction. I was there just the other day, and they have the substantial part of the foundation and some of the structures, holding structures up. But it will take a year to complete.
Let's see, I think that's all the Q&A we have. I'm surprised I saw all these things going on. Okay, thank you. So let me get back onto our screen for sharing. Okay, now for the fun part. I'd like to introduce Hospitality's Elaine Mitchell, who will introduce the rest of the committee members and raffle off gift cards for ice cream treats. So Elaine, you're on.
Thank you, Joyce. This is wonderful. It's always nice to be in charge of the fun part, even though the serious part is, of course, necessary. Having served as the VP of Hospitality and about to be out of a job, I haven't heard anything yet about the retirement plan, but I hope there is one. Maybe in ice cream, that would even be better. It has been such a pleasure to serve with these folks. They're absolutely amazing. Hospitality people have such a wealth of different kinds of talents that they kind of knock your socks off. Let me start with Lisa Sewell, since Lisa is the newly elected and soon to be installed VP of Hospitality. And we have continuing in her position as chairman of the Hospitality Committee is Tina Ernsting, who, I mean, imagine that. She's carried the committee along for 2 years, and now she is even willing to do it for 2 more. And looking forward to working with Lisa. I would like to give a special shout out to Donna Spradlin. I hope we can see her. Donna is the inspiration for the hospitality committee. You could take all of us and squish us into a little ball, and we would not be able to even come close to equaling all the talents and wonderful work and efforts and efficiency that Donna brings to us all. She is amazing. Not to have this go on forever and ever, let me just give you some more names.
Can you hear me now?
There you are. Hi.
Would you believe my gardeners just showed up? I was trying to stop the blower.
Well, thank you for being
Anyway,
here.
I'm happy to be alive and still contributing, and hospitality is the perfect committee to do it in. Thank you.
Oh, you are so dear. Thank you. We also have today with us Marie Stiegler, who, like I say, too many talents to mention for everybody. We'd be here all afternoon. So I'm just going to say hi, Marie, let people know who you are. Jean Bryant, Miss Enthusiasm and Energy. Judy Leach, Judy is a former VP and enjoyed, hopefully, everything so much, and we enjoyed having her. She's stuck with us and is still just contributes so many things. Thank you, Judy. And Gail Nitta, who is, wow, I'll tell you, Gail is just amazing. Whatever it is you need done, there she is. She does it, and your head's still spinning. Bonnie Harrington, I think Bonnie has 2 loves, well, probably 3 loves in her life. And I'm so happy that Ollie and hospitality are one of them, because she's amazing. And then she's got these amazingly cute dogs too that they're so cute. We could all do with that. And Nancy Parker, and you can tell a little bit about Nancy when you look at her email address, which is Nutsy Parker. Annette Lauritsen, who doesn't have her picture up here, but I think she's out there in the audience. Michelle Frankel, also shy for pictures, but amazing. I don't want to forget Wendell, because his picture was there. I don't believe he is here today, however, maybe a little under the weather, but at any rate, we do have 2 wonderful gentlemen that are there with us all the way with their enthusiasm and support and doing anything that needs to be done. And that's Wendell Hanks and Tom Barry. And we have even in these trying kind of times when it's hard to know what hospitality is going to be able to figure out to do, since we really like to get together with you and eat and carry on there, we have a new member. And I hope she came today. Her name is Ophelia Igasaki, and I think there are a number of people that know her. She's been active as a fairly new member to OLLI, but she's making herself known, so I think she's going to be wonderful for us. I hope I didn't leave anybody out. It's hard to even talk about them all without just going on and on and on, because you guys are fantastic. I appreciate my time so much, that having spent with you. So thank you so much. Let's give away some ice cream gift cards. I think that's in order, don't you? What we love to do best. We have, don't you love this? Life is like an ice cream cone. So we have a slide with everybody's name on it. This was a perfectly random way of picking the winners, but we've got William Clark, Judy Randlett, Jim Ertl, Kathy Gilroy, Deborah Maxwell, Richard Foltz, Tracy Hamill, Joan Lebsack, Steve Carnes, and Maria del Carmen Rosati. And you will be receiving your cards in the mail, the good old post office mail, and I hope you really enjoy them. They will be either from Cold Stone, from 31 Flavors, or from Rich's Farm Dairy, which is, as far as I know, has one location, and that's in Placentia. And they're very local and very wonderful. What's better than ice cream at any point? So before I get out of here and take way too much time for you all, I would love to invite you to an upcoming event that we have that's, at least save the date for it. On Saturday, June 19th from 3 to 5, we will be having a traditional, well, we're trying to make it a traditional OLLI Fiesta. And this, of course, needs to be virtual. And I hope it is our last virtual meeting that we have, or event that we have. But at least come and enjoy yourselves. You'll be receiving, when you register for it, a couple of recipes if you want to follow some of those, and make up your own snacks and beverages of your choice. For that, we will be offering, among other things, a professional dance instructor who is going to come. She's absolutely amazing, Kim Roberts, and we'll add to that the amazing Mariachis Divas de Cindy Shea. These all-female mariachi band. These ladies are so amazing. I just can't tell you enough about them. Cindy founded this group in 1999. They have been nominated for Grammys over and over again. They have won 3 times, 2009, 2014, and last year, 2020. And the only reason they haven't won yet in 2021 is because they haven't done that yet. They are Disneyland's resort area. They are the official mariachi band for that group. And another little benefit here, Cindy Shea is 1996 Cal State Fullerton alumni. So I really invite you to come. This is going to be a very fun event, and we will just let everything go. Be ready for your snacks and beverage. Be ready to laugh. Be ready to get up and dance. However you want to, you can share that with anybody else. And so I will say, hasta luego, amigos, and welcome back, Joyce Ono, a couple of amigas, our outgoing president and our incoming president, Joyce Ono and Ellie Monroe.
Okay. Thank you, Elaine. Sounds like fun. So I'd like to make a few closing remarks, and also to Ellie too. I think most outgoing OLLI presidents, I'll start my sharing here. I think for most outgoing OLLI presidents, this election today is like a somewhat bittersweet moment. Sweet because now I'll have more time to do things that I really want to pursue, and the other, in my case, is more sleep. But bitter because there's some things that I didn't get done, and but it's been an interesting, sometimes taxing, but still rewarding experience in working with the board and so many dedicated OLLI members and staff, especially this year when OLLI and the rest of the world has experienced an unprecedented time in history. At this time, I'd also like to acknowledge my spouse, Richard McCammon, who's been so supportive throughout my term, and publicly thank him for all those breakfasts that he prepared all different times of the day because of my schedule. So thank you, Richard. And I'll be one of the OLLI presidents leaving an OLLI that will need to recover. And I'm confident that Ellie will do a fantastic job in leading us to the light at the end of the tunnel. So Ellie, your turn in more ways than one.
Oh, okay. Jim stepped away because they're setting up the band right now. So for the entertainment for our next presentation. Joyce, I want to thank you. You did a fantastic job as president. You got a lot accomplished. And I wouldn't worry too much about the things you feel that you did not accomplish, because you were feverishly in there and trying to get as much done. And there's some things that are just beyond us. They're overcome by events, in other words. And you had to tackle the COVID. You know, as you were coming into yours, here comes Mr. COVID around, and so you had quite a task and quite you've accomplished a lot. And thank you for that. You've left a good footprint for all of us. I also would like to thank the past members, past board members who are very supportive. And I'm looking forward to working with a new group. I know the majority of them already and have worked very closely with them. And so I'm very much looking forward to that. And I know that this board will do some great things and continue to bring us back into campus and rebuild us, and you'll see a new OLLI, because I'm one of those believers that don't believe we're ever going to get back to normal again, because we don't know what normal is defined at anymore. And so we will come up with a new way of doing business and stuff. And this has changed a lot of things for us. You know, it's taught our members that have returned already new computer skills and stuff. And so OLLI's living up to its name. We're constantly teaching you something. And in this case, you all had to learn how to use Zoom. So there's a challenge for us. Anyway, I thank you very much, and I look forward to representing each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ellie. And so in closing, thanks for attending our second, hopefully our last, virtual general meeting and election. I also want to thank, at this point in time, Jim Monroe and Bill Riley and Bob Newcomb, who have been behind the scenes for all of our presentations here at OLLI for all these events. And since we can't have real ice cream right now, our traditional ice cream social, these virtual representatives, again, will have to do. So hope you stay safe, be optimistic, and know that we'll soon be seeing each other soon. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.